Hi, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. The value of your Filipina going home in the Philippines. Even after marrying my Filipina wife and while going through the immigration process, I was aware that at some point, even though she hadn't even departed the Philippines, at some time she was going to need to return there for a vacation. Today, I will talk about how important I think that is. Subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea and get notifications for videos focusing on relationships, the most important being a wife for a man. I live about 9,700 flight miles from her home in Davao City, Philippines, and I was a bit overwhelmed at how long it took to get there the first time. I greatly appreciated how far away she was from me, and we had just gotten married. I was homesick when I moved just 400 miles away to go to a trade school a long time ago. I can only imagine what moving from the Philippines would be like to her. While in the Philippines, I observed just how important family is and the large impact the woman I was marrying had on her family. Not once did my wife say anything to me about going back home someday or visiting there. In all likelihood, she believed she was going to tough it out. And now that I think about it, she did tell me that she wanted to wait 2 or 3 years to go back because she wanted to get used to her new surroundings, and going home too soon would short circuit that. My wife understood there would be homesickness, see my video about that, and wanted to work on being the best wife she could be. She cried naturally at times. I had told her parents that I would not go back to the Philippines because of the long flights, which had caused a lot of back pain at that time, and I was just being honest. However, I love my wife, and putting two and two together, realized that it would be good for her to go back home before too many years had gone by. To that end, I told her she could visit the Philippines whenever she needed to. The trip is hard on her too, and she does not want to frequently be doing that. She arrived in America on January 11th, 2016, greeted by weather she could not experience in the Philippines, a Midwest winter. I really am not sure how it came to be, but only 7 months later in August, we had flights for both of us to go see her family in Davao City. Even I was included. I probably talked her into it to some degree, as I want what is best for my Filipino wife, and told her in our marriage that I will do whatever I can to defer to her to meet her needs. I felt that she would always enjoy seeing her family, so I never wanted to see her go a long time without seeing them. We also returned in June of 2018 and were there over Christmas and New Year's in 19 and 20. I have been to her city 4 times now and have increasingly gotten more comfortable with having family so far away, and I think they have learned to trust me with their daughter and sister. Now the unimaginable is being considered, and that is for us to retire there. I would like to retire at 62. My wife works full time, and we could retire at the same time. What happened? It's the value I see in my wife being able to see her family, and I am increasingly wanting to retire there with her. I'll add this caveat that not every foreign husband can allow his Filipino wife to go back very often, and although I think it is valuable to her, I think the husband should be honest with his wife about how often she may be able to go home. It's not cheap. You've got the plane fare, her food, where you're going to stay. She'll probably want to buy some things for her family. They may want to go to the restaurants a few times, perhaps visit some favorite places or new places while she is there. Getting time off work to go to the Philippines isn't easy to do, as she will only get so much vacation time and might not want to stay less than 2 weeks in the Philippines. 2 weeks there goes by like nothing. Factor in how exhausting it can be for her. In our case, it's 8 flights to get there and back, and maybe needing a few days to adjust before going back to work. She also won't like the yo-yoing of emotions going to the Philippines, and then leaving the Philippines. If she can go home every 2 or 3 years, that might be a good amount. Let me know your thoughts on that and any of this in the comments section. Now let me share what the value is I see for her to go back home again and again. First one, she is revived. My wife has been working full time and overtime. She cooks and cleans our home She does the shopping, prepares all the food, gets it all organized. And I work 6 days a week. If she isn't working overtime, she has time to rest and recuperate, but she tries to work overtime when it is offered. She's energetic but needs her rest too. Being able to go back to the Philippines for 2 or 3 weeks is invigorating for my wife, even though she keeps very busy when she is there. She has a lot of family, a lot of friends to see, and I want her to see as many people as she can. I don't think she always gets quite the amount of sleep she would normally get, but she wants to make the most of her time there. A vacation like this uses up most of my wife's vacation allowance from work. Now, it also helps her mentally and emotionally. This is similar to the previous reason, which I intended to be more physical in nature. Here, we are talking about the good it does her emotional state, her frame of mind, to be back in the Philippines. She realizes the time will go fast, and she will eventually be back to the usual American lifestyle of work, work, work. My Filipina wife has made a few more Filipina friends than I thought she might, as I didn't think there were all that many Filipinas here in Nebraska. In this way, she retains a bit of home cooking, if you will. They go to the mall, cook Filipina dishes, even karaoke. I am very satisfied to see that, and we have some Fil-Am couples that we get together with now and then. But I know that when we get off that plane in Davao, she is eagerly anticipating being picked up by her family for that taxi ride home. Her family's always there to see us off to America, too. She will be able to snap a lot of photographs and take videos of family and friends that will be fun for her to have. Like they say, there's no place like home. Another reason is she is just happy. The sum result is that I have a happy wife. She is able to soak up being back home. We say we go on vacations to get away, and she will have felt like she got away to her favorite place, her home in the Philippines. When she comes back to America, she will jump back into things with newfound enthusiasm and know that eventually she's going to be able to do it again, which makes the daily grind of going to work easier to do. She can also see her new nieces and nephews. My wife's family is enlarging with nieces and a nephew, and although we see them on Facebook, it isn't the same thing as being there to play with them and hug them and give them kisses. Another reason that's good for her to go back is so her family can see her. You can bet if your Filipino wife is looking forward to seeing her family, then her family is looking forward to seeing her. I don't know exactly the overall benefit of this, but I'm sure each family member benefits from seeing her in their own way. Her family cried when we left there recently. There seemed to be more tears than usual. When I married my wife, someone they looked up to and relied on left to go to the other side of the world, and they couldn't know when they would see her next. I am not suggesting to feel guilty about marrying a Filipina and immigrating her to your country, only to think about the ramifications of it. Another good reason, she looks forward to it. All the while my wife is working and surviving the winters here, she's probably uplifted to know that maybe in 2 years, maybe less, we can hop on a plane and make that excursion to the Philippines. This is probably a source of inspiration to her at some point during the year. I have to admit that I look forward to going with her as well, and much of that is so she can enjoy the things I am listing here. I know that it will help both of us as well as our marriage. Another reason her family looks forward to it. It isn't every day that my wife's family can look ahead and start making plans to pick us up at the airport and spend so much time with my wife. The first time we went back to the Philippines, we wanted it to be a surprise, and we didn't tell them we were coming. We just showed up. That was okay since it had only been 7 months since they saw her off for America. Since then, we let them know, and we are seriously thinking about going again. I am sure Mom and Papa were always happy to see their daughter again. Now, it also helps her relax in her new country. I think it would be very hard on her to not be able to see her family in person for a long time. Homesickness is bad enough, but an extended time away from the Philippines could lead to depression, anxiety, and disdain if she really needs to visit. Being able to live in another country and probably have a job will be more acceptable and enjoyable, being able to look into the future and be excited about a trip back to the Philippines. Another reason, she can better keep up with the children growing up As additional children are born into her family, my wife can see them regularly enough so that she feels like she is keeping up um, kind of with their growth and development. Another reason, she can see her longtime friends. I can tell by Facebook posts that my wife has quite a few friends, and I have met many of them. A lot of them she's even known since elementary school. I enjoy meeting them too. I'm very glad that my wife is able to keep in touch with friends back home and make additional ones here. She hadn't been in America very long, and she had way more friends here than I did. Also, I enjoy, seeing her so happy. It does me good to see my wife reveling in the whole Philippine experience. She has taken me to see various places she wanted me to see, like People's Park, Eden Nature Park. When you love someone, you feel good when they feel good. Another reason, her family can see I'm taking good care of her. When my wife's family sees her come back feeling good, looking healthy, and interacting well with me, they will know they made the right decision to allow her to move to the other side of the world to be with a man she trusted to love her, even though we hadn't known each other very long. We got married in 54 days. She might be the first one in the family to do that, to immigrate. It's important to me that her family trusts me to take care of her physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Another reason, she can observe the growth and development of her city. My wife has many good things to say about Davao City. She thinks it is a safe place and a clean place. It's a developing, progressive city. It's her home. Also, if the husband goes with her multiple times, he gets a first-hand look at what it might be like to retire there. Never in a million years would I have thought that one day I would be thinking about living in a different country. But as the years go by and retirement is in my thoughts more, the Philippines would be the place for all the reasons I have given. I have my concerns that I'd like to list in a video someday, but since my wife is so familiar with it, maybe it will be a nearly ideal place for me. And I do have a playlist on my retirement thoughts in the Philippines that I put together before our most recent trip, if you want to see that. There's a playlist for that. Now, this last comment is significant because according to my wife, while most Filipinas desire to leave the Philippines in order to help her family and will appreciate what she has, she'll appreciate what she has in the foreign country, that does not mean that she wants to die in that foreign country. I believe her when she says that most Filipinas want to return to the Philippines if given the opportunity. This would be after her husband passes away, or even better, if they both can retire there. This is something important to understand, enough to make a video about. The foreigner isn't rescuing her from a predominantly poor country. Her family and friends are there, which makes her feel rich in and of itself. As a foreigner, please don't think that your Filipina isn't completely buying into being with you if she yearns to be with her family again. Consider how valuable she is to you and how valuable it is to her to occasionally be reunited with family and friends. This is what I want for my love beyond the sea.